When we started looking into Berlin's queer scene, one phrase just kept jumping out at us from, well, pretty much all our sources.
Which one was that?
Europe's capital of kink. And honestly, as we dug deeper, it became so clear why. This isn't just a city that's like okay with its LGBTQ plus community. It's a place where, as our material describes it, there's this unapologetically open and unfiltered culture. It actually celebrates diverse sexual expression, including cruising and, a huge sex-positive club scene.
Absolutely. It's baked into the city's identity in a way you don't see many other places.
So today we're really diving deep into this, uniquely uninhibited world. Our mission here is to unpack what makes Berlin so distinct.
Right.
We're going to journey through its really rich, often kind of surprising history, with explore the incredibly diverse venues. Everything from hidden corners and parks to these super specialized clubs and community spaces.
Yeah, the range is pretty amazing.
And crucially, we want to equip you with the essential info on etiquette, safety, and also the digital connections that are woven all through this scene.
Because those are vital parts of it now.
Exactly. The goal is to give you a really comprehensive, detailed, and hopefully engaging understanding so you can navigate this environment responsibly, whether you're actually planning a trip or, just curious to explore it from your armchair.
And to guide us on this deep dive, we've synthesized quite a bit of material. We've looked at candid insider guides, some really in-depth articles on specific venues, also robust safety recommendations from local LGBTQ plus organizations, which are super important, and detailed discussions of the digital platforms that, really underpin this vibrant community now.
So we've basically done the homework.
We've tried. We've meticulously distilled the most impactful insights and honestly some pretty surprising facts.
Right.
We want to offer you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about what really sets Berlin apart on the global LGBTQ plus map.
Okay, so let's start with the bedrock. Right. Understanding Berlin's unique queer landscape. It's more than just friendly. Our sources keep using words like unfiltered, unapologetically open, anything goes.
Yeah, those come up a lot.
And this idea that diverse sexual expressions, including cruising, aren't just tolerated, they're actively celebrated, woven into the city's fabric. But what does uninhibited freedom actually look like? How does a city get to that no pretenses, no limits point beyond just, a catchy slogan?
That's a great question, because unfiltered isn't just a label here. It seems to be a lived reality. It represents a really deep integration of queer life into Berlin's actual identity.
So not just confined to certain neighborhoods or hidden away.
Exactly. Queer identities and expressions aren't pushed to the margins. In many ways, they feel central to the city's pulse, its energy. Imagine a city where finding an impromptu connection in a park, or maybe exploring a very specific fetish in a club. It feels as natural, as accepted, as grabbing a coffee or going to a museum. That's the kind of integration we're talking about. It's not just tolerance. It's like a profound cultural absorption, a kind of quiet understanding that's just woven into this city.
Okay.
And this level of acceptance means people feel less pressure, less pressure to perform or hide or censor their desires. It allows for something, maybe rawer, more authentic self-expression, where those usual social layers, the pretense, can genuinely just peel away.
That sounds like a stark contrast to many other places.
It really is. Even in places considered tolerant, queer culture often remains kind of segmented or, still subject to some scrutiny. Berlin feels different in that regard, based on what we've read.
And this freedom, this openness, it isn't some new phenomenon, is it? It's got deep historical roots.
Absolutely.
Deep roots.
Our research clearly shows that cruising specifically isn't new to Berlin at all. Like take Tiergarten Park. It's been a renowned gay cruising ground since the late 1800s.
Yeah, the 1800s. Pretty incredible. Just try to picture that. Men connecting discreetly over a century ago in the same spots maybe people cruise today. What a powerful contrast to now, where some of these places are almost global icons. How did these spaces, these public yet somehow discreet spots, even emerge and manage to last when homosexuality was actually illegal, punishable by law?
Well, connecting them to the broader history, the significance is immense. During those times when being gay was criminalized, these outdoor areas weren't just convenient. They were literally, as some sources put it, safe avenues for connection.
Lifelines, almost.
Exactly. Essential infrastructure, really, for a marginalized community to find each other. But what seems to set Berlin apart, according to our sources, is how the existence of these spaces became inscribed in city planning for over a century.
Inscribed in city planning?
How so? It's not like they put up signs saying cruising area here, but it signifies this enduring, maybe indirect acknowledgement, a kind of implicit permission almost, that allow these practices to just persist and evolve, even through really difficult times.
So not just people finding spots, but the city structure itself sort of accommodating it, even if unofficially.
Something like that, yeah. This historical continuity, this resilience, it really underpins the open and uninhibited atmosphere we see today. It's quite remarkable.
What a journey. From illegality and hiding to, well, full legal recognition now, the legal side of things in Germany must have played a massive role in shaping this scene.
Huge role. Critical.
We see these progressive legal reforms that really boosted the environment. Decriminalization of homosexuality back in 1969.
A massive step.
And then much more recently, the legalization of gay marriage and adoption in 2017. How did these reforms spanning decades actually impact the visibility and integration of the scene? Did they make it more overt or just solidify what was already there, maybe underground?
I think it's a bit of both, but the impact was profound. This legal progression shows Germany's, well, profound and evolving commitment to queer liberation. Initially, decriminalization in '69 removed that immediate legal threat.
Took away the fear of arrest, basically.
Right, which allowed the scene to cautiously shift from being purely clandestine to becoming more overt, more organized. That was a monumental first step. Then later milestones, like marriage and adoption equality in 2017, they didn't just grant rights. They sent a powerful societal message of full integration, full acceptance.
More than just laws, it's about the signal it sends.
Precisely. This whole cascade of reforms really shaped the contemporary scene by dismantling layers of fear, shame, and stigma. It empowered people to feel safer, more affirmed in who they are and what they desire. It allowed for public expressions that would have been unthinkable before. This legal scaffolding really let Berlin's unfiltered atmosphere truly flourish and become embedded.
It's fascinating how the actual geography of the queer scene adapted, too. We know about the traditional neighborhoods like Schöneberg, which was incredibly vibrant, right? Over 100 LGBT bars in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, astonishing numbers for that era. A real hub.
Then, after the Berlin Wall came down and after decriminalization really took hold, we saw this significant expansion. New areas like Kreuzberg, Neukölln, Friedrichshain became important. What does that spread tell us about the community's resilience and dynamism? How it absorbed new people, new freedoms?
It speaks volumes about that adaptive growth and resilience. The historical continuity from that amazing 1920s scene in Schöneberg right through to the post-wall diversification, it shows that queer life in Berlin wasn't just tolerated in isolated pockets. It was deeply rooted.
So it had a strong foundation to build on.
Exactly. That historical presence, combined with what some sources call a kind of official awareness, even if it wasn't always direct protection, allowed these communities to establish lasting footholds. When the legal and social barriers started falling, that foundation enabled this dynamic flourishing across new neighborhoods.
So it wasn't just random.
No, it feels like organic growth. New spaces emerged to cater to all the diverse facets of this expanding queer population. It absolutely underscores that Berlin's anything goes vibe isn't some overnight thing. It's the result of a century of persistent, evolving queer life that even through massive adversity found ways to endure, expand, and become this central, celebrated part of the city.
Okay, so we've got the historical context, the cultural backdrop. Let's zoom in now on the specific experience of outdoor encounters, cruising in parks and green spaces.
Right, the outdoor scene.
It offers this unique blend, doesn't it? Nature and desire, spontaneous connections in public spaces, often after dark, and discretion, we keep hearing, is paramount.
Absolutely key.
But how does the natural setting itself influence the experience? What makes these encounters feel so spontaneous compared to, say, arranging something on an app?
Well, the appeal of these discrete rendezvous is really tied to the setting. Nature provides a backdrop that offers both anonymity, cover of trees, shadows, winding paths, and also this feeling of raw, almost primal freedom.
A different kind of atmosphere.
Totally. And the spontaneity comes precisely from that lack of explicit planning. It's not prearranged. It's about a mutual recognition, this sophisticated dance of nonverbal cues, which we definitely need to get into more detail on later, that signal interest.
Right.
You might encounter, varying levels of directness, shy glances maybe, or really overt approaches. It's all part of this unwritten shared code. It allows for this organic, often totally wordless connection that's very different from an app hookup or the structured environment of a club.
So it's more about being present, reading the situation.
Exactly. Being present, open, and really keenly attuned to your surroundings and the people in them. It fosters this unique kind of serendipity, this chance encounter.
And when we talk outdoor cruising, Tiergarten Park is, well, it's legendary, isn't it? A global icon.
Undeniably, it's the big one.
The history alone is incredible. Oldest gay cruising ground, late 1800s. Active after dark specific hotspots mentioned like around the Siegsal, the Victory Column.
Right. Siegesol, the Lion Bridge, and that dense forest bit between Bremer Weg and Neuer See are classic spots mentioned in the sources.
What makes this park keep its popularity even now, over a century later? How does it stay active year-round, not just on warm summer nights?
Tiergarten's enduring appeal is, well, it's multifaceted. Its historical status definitely gives it a certain weight, a sense of community resilience. It's a space with a long memory, embedded in queer Berlin's collective consciousness.
So there's a legacy aspect.
Definitely. But practically speaking, its sheer size and its genuinely labyrinthine nature are absolutely key.
Labyrinthine, like easy to get lost in.
In a good way, for this purpose. The park offers these vast, intricate areas that just naturally facilitate discretion. You can have a wide range of interactions without feeling overly exposed.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that blend historical significance, plenty of space for privacy, and just this established reputation means it keeps drawing a strong crowd. Even when the weather isn't perfect, like on a chilly winter evening, it's a known quantity, a reliable destination.
It's a constant.
Yeah, and that fosters this consistent, almost ritualistic community across seasons, across generations even. It's like an architecture designed for discovery, where paths twist and turn, allowing for that slow approach or that quick, discreet disappearance. Creates this almost theatrical sense of anonymity and possibility.
Okay, moving to another big green space, Volkspark Friedrichshain. This one's known more for discreet pathways favored by locals, offering more secluded corners maybe than Tiergarten.
Right, a bit different vibe.
The hot spot mentioned is near the Märchenbrunnen fountain, the fairy tale fountain, especially dusk to nighttime. Discreet pathways.
That sounds like a different energy than the huge, iconic Tiergarten. Yeah. How do people find these specific spots, and what kind of encounters might happen there?
Friedrichshain's less overt, more organic encounters do offer a distinct flavor. While Tiergarten is this global destination, Friedrichshain often caters to those seeking something more local, maybe less visible, or even more intimate.
So not for the tourists necessarily, maybe less so, or for those seeking a different experience. People often find these spots through trusted word of mouth within the local community, or, and this is crucial, through those specific online forums and websites we need to discuss later. They share really granular details about locations and current activity levels.
Ah, okay. So the digital world connects to the physical spots here too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The contrast between the parks suggests people often choose strategically. Yeah. Based on how much anonymity they want, the perceived safety, the desired level of spontaneity. If you want a quieter, more intimate interaction, less like a big event and more like a quiet discovery, Friedrichshain provides those secluded corners. A different pace, often deeper discretion.
Then there's Hasenheide Park. This sounds like a really unique mix. It's got a large nudist lawn, popular with gay and bi men in summer.
Yeah, FKK Freikörperkultur, the nudist culture is big in Germany.
Existing right alongside explicit cruising spots like the Flap, which our sources say is a public toilet, and wooded areas near a kiosk. They even mention little pathways throughout the woods, often with bikes parked nearby as a signal.
The bikes are a classic tell.
A nudist lawn and cruising spots in one park, that's quite a blend. First off, what exactly is the Flap in this context? And how does the whole nudity thing potentially affect the cruising vibe there?
Hasenheide really illustrates that fluid boundary between public leisure and sexual activity that Berlin's kind of famous for. The nudist lawn itself is significant because it normalizes body exposure in public.
Lowers inhibitions generally.
Exactly. It can lower social barriers for subsequent sexual encounters. It cultivates an environment where a certain level of uninhibitedness is already implicitly understood. Now, the Flap, or clap in German, that's a classic Berlin insider term. It's a colloquialism for a public toilet that has, over time, become a well-known established cruising spot.
So these aren't just any public toilets, they're known destinations.
Pretty much. These clape locations often offer a more immediate, anonymous kind of encounter. Very different from wandering through a sprawling park. The little pathways and parked bikes are those subtle, implicit cues within this well-established, active, yet less overtly publicized cruising network. Regulars know the signals. Hasenheide is a space where discretion and mutual understanding are key, and those lines between public leisure and private desire are beautifully, deliberately blurred.
From huge parks to urban green spaces and now public toilets, the sheer variety of outdoor spots is striking. Gleisstreich Park is mentioned too, offering a more urban vibe, active after midnight.
Right, more integrated into the city fabric there.
And then these specific Klappe toilets, like Klappe Elbestrasse, described as a bungalow design where dozens meet daily. Also Bahnhof Slept the Südkreuz near the train station, and Café Octek, those distinctive octagonal public loos.
Yeah, the historical ones.
What kind of encounters typically happen in these Klappe spots? How do they really differ from the park experiences?
The Klappe locations really represent a distinct subculture within the cruising scene. They're designed for a very specific type of interaction, more immediate and anonymous.
Quick and to the point.
Often, yes. Compared to the more exploratory park settings, these are places for quick, often highly transient encounters, emphasizing pure anonymity and, well, efficiency. Their specific designs like that bungalow style or dedicated setups are often built precisely for this purpose, facilitating rapid, often nonverbal hookups that can be largely transactional.
Okay.
And the fact that many have active online forums where people share updates or experiences that further reveals this dedicated, often highly organized network that values these specific types of spaces, it's a sharp contrast to the more organic, less direct nature of park encounters. Right. A very direct, no-frills approach.
So even in Berlin, City of Freedom, you can't just completely let loose in public spaces.
Definitely not. There are still rules.
Our sources consistently remind us. While the city kind of acknowledges cruising, public indecency laws causing a public nuisance still apply. SchwuZ, for example, requires considerable discretion.
Yeah, that specific spot is highlighted.
It's navigating this fine line, isn't it, between cultural acceptance and actual legal boundaries. How do people manage that balance?
It's about responsible freedom within limits. Even in Berlin's liberal framework, legal boundaries exist. Ignoring them carries concrete legal risk. That advice to stay low-key and use considerable discretion isn't just etiquette, it's practical legal guidance.
To avoid getting charged.
Exactly. It's about respecting the broader public space and its non-cruising users, even while engaging in an accepted subculture. People manage it by adhering to complex unwritten rules, choosing secluded spots, being hyper-aware of surroundings, understanding that while the act might be accepted among participants, public exposure can still cause trouble. It's a constant, nuanced dance between personal liberation and public responsibility.
It's really clear that if you're looking for an outdoor adventure, Berlin offers this incredible spectrum. Tiergarten, the icon, draws crowds year-round. Volkspark Friedrichshain offers more discreet, spontaneous vibes, and then the niche anonymity of the Klappe spots.
Exactly right.
It genuinely seems there's a spot tailored for pretty much every preference and desired level of discretion.
Yeah, and this range connects directly to the diverse needs of cruisers. You've got Tiergarten's history and anonymity for those valuing an established spot, then the deeper anonymity and local feel of Friedrichshain or Hasenheide. The Klappe spots further emphasize finding precisely the kind of encounter you seek, quick and anonymous, or a longer exploration in nature. It's a sophisticated ecosystem of public spaces, each with its own character, its own unspoken rules, allowing for really personalized experiences.
Okay, let's peel back another layer now and step inside. Because Berlin's indoor cruising scene is just as vibrant and diverse, maybe even more so.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge.
Our sources call it integral to that Europe's capital of kink reputation, offering everything from sprawling saunas, high-energy clubs, and this astonishing array of specialized fetish venues. So what kind of uninhibited freedom can you actually expect behind those often unmarked doors?
Well, what's really striking indoors is the concept of hyper-specialization. It's not just a few general places. These venues are often meticulously designed to cater to almost every imaginable kink, preference, and sub-community.
Hyper-specialization. Okay.
Behind those doors, you find environments explicitly set up to facilitate sexual exploration and connection, often with specific themes, dress codes, or types of play that actively encourage a particular, sometimes intense, kind of uninhibited expression.
So much more focused than the outdoor scene.
Definitely. It makes the indoor scene a true microcosm of Berlin's anything-goes ethos. Individuals can find highly tailored spaces for their desires, free from the societal scrutiny or the legal gray areas of public spaces. It's really a universe of possibilities indoors.
And leading the charge here are the premier gay saunas. Do Boiler comes up again and again. hailed as Berlin's premier gay sauna, and incredibly, the most visited gay bathhouse in Europe.
That's quite the claim, but it seems widely acknowledged.
It's described as sprawling 3 floors, diverse facilities, 90 and 60-degree saunas, hammam, pool, and then this labyrinthine cruising area.
Yeah, the layout sounds key.
Complete with private cabins, glory holes, a dark room, and apparently late-night sessions have an extra edge. It sounds like a whole world in there. That labyrinthine cruising area and glory holes suggest a very specific designed experience way beyond just a sauna.
It really is comprehensive, multifaceted, almost a destination in itself. Der Boiler goes way beyond just being a sauna. The descriptions highlight the sophistication of Berlin's sauna scene. It's designed as this immersive environment where relaxation, socializing, and extensive cruising all just weave together seamlessly. The cabins, glory holes, dark rooms within that labyrinth layout mean various levels of intimacy, anonymity, and directness are possible. It caters meticulously to a huge range of desires and cruising styles.
An ecosystem, you called it?
Yeah, an ecosystem carefully curated for exploration. You could spend hours just discovering new corners and connections.
Yeah.
It's also important, though, just to briefly mention, while Der Boiler is thriving, the tragic fire at the Apollo Splash Club in 2017, another well-known venue back then, serves as a really stark reminder of how critical safety protocols and vigilance are in these spaces.
Absolutely, a crucial point. Okay, beyond saunas, many Berlin clubs offer this electric mix. Techno beats, big dark rooms, and that atmosphere of uninhibited freedom.
The club scene is legendary, too.
Our sources note they often encourage or even require specific fetish wear, leather, latex, minimal clothing. The dress code alone sets a very clear tone, doesn't it?
Immediately, yeah.
What makes these clubs fundamentally different from just a regular dance club? And how do they manage to facilitate cruising so explicitly alongside the music and dancing?
What's fascinating is their design for it. They aren't just dance clubs with a back room. They're meticulously set up to facilitate cruising and sexual liberation alongside the music. The dark rooms are absolutely central, providing those anonymous, low-light spaces for everything from a subtle glance to full-on activity.
So the space itself enables it.
Totally. And the encouragement, sometimes requirement, of fetish wear. That's not just aesthetics, it's a powerful signal. It creates an atmosphere where a specific type of sexual expression isn't just accepted, it's celebrated, often expected. This deliberate design, plus the high-energy techno, creates an environment where explicit sexual liberation is the absolute norm. It allows for connections far beyond typical socializing or dancing. It's an immersive experience geared towards sexual discovery.
Let's talk about Lab.Oratory. In the basement of Berghain, the legendary club.
Ah, yes,
Described unequivocally as the most famous and popular gay sex club in Berlin, known for theme nights, the infamous Esnayak sex party. Friday happy hour is apparently rammed.
Yeah, notoriously busy.
But our sources caution, not made for vulnerable souls. What does that actually mean? And critically, they make a very specific point. Very few people use condoms here, and pretty much all goers are on pre-pee.
Right, that's a huge detail.
It really is. That carries major implications for safety.
It raises a deeply important point about the specific kind of advanced subculture at Lab.Oratory. When sources say not made for vulnerable souls, it implies an intense, unapologetic environment. Boundaries are actively pushed, explicit sexual activity is overt, direct, pervasive. It's a space for people who are highly experienced, confident, comfortable with that extreme openness.
Okay, so not for beginners, perhaps.
Probably not, no. And the no condoms culture is a significant high-risk factor. It directly necessitates that strong emphasis on pre-EP and STI awareness. For anyone listening who doesn't know, pre-EP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, is that highly effective medication to prevent HIV. This cultural norm at Lab is based on the assumption that the vast majority of people there are on pre-P.
Which is critical information.
Absolutely critical, especially for tourists. It highlights the absolute necessity of getting pre-P before you arrive in Berlin, because getting it quickly in Germany, especially if you're not a resident, can be incredibly challenging, maybe impossible. You can be putting yourself at significant risk in an environment where condoms aren't the norm.
That's incredibly important practical advice. Okay, beyond Lab, there are other iconic clubs. Ficken 3000, known for underground energy and a very large dark room. Connection Club, a classic spot, famous for highly crowded dark rooms.
Both well-known names.
This makes me wonder, what's the actual difference in experience between a very large dark room and highly crowded ones? Does size or crowding change things fundamentally?
I think it does, yeah. It's about the spatial dynamics and what that allows for. A very large darkroom, like at Ficken 3000, might offer more space to move, explore, maybe find more secluded corners, a greater sense of anonymity within the darkness.
More exploratory, less immediate pressure.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Whereas highly crowded darkrooms, like a connection club, imply a more intense, packed, immediate environment. Encounters are likely very direct, very physical, maybe less about exploration and more about immediate connection. Both emphasize the darkroom as central, but they cater to slightly different preferences: personal space, intensity, the flow of connections. The physical space shapes the social and sexual dynamics.
SchwuZ sounds incredibly rich, multifaceted. Queer nights where clubbing and cruising collide. And it holds this amazing title: Germany's oldest queer club and biggest queer cultural institution.
Quite the legacy.
3 dance floors, seating areas, diverse music. But it's also explicitly a space for queer culture and social and political engagement. Hosting everything from a lighthearted Schlager knock party, a naked pop music party, to more intense men-only sex parties.
Right, the range is huge.
Oldest queer club, social political engagement, and naked parties, all under one roof. It really seems to bridge many different worlds.
SchwuZ is a perfect example of a venue successfully bridging that high-energy hedonism with deep community building and vital activism. It shows Berlin's scene as profoundly multi-dimensional.
Not just one thing.
Exactly. It's not just about sex and partying. It's a vibrant cultural institution providing a safe, inclusive space for art, political discourse, social engagement, all while simultaneously allowing for those more uninhibited forms of queer celebration, like the naked parties. It's this holistic approach to queer life, where entertainment, liberation, advocacy, mutual support, they all coexist and enrich each other. A testament to the community weaving diverse needs together.
Now, Treeborg, this sounds intense and very niche.
Definitely niche.
Sources call it an unstylish, seedy Kreuzberg institution, its fetish, unapologetic sleaze, hosting over 300 sex parties a year, 2 floors, an extensive moist and festering basement, wow, equipped with things like a sling, cabins, a gynecological examination chair, and a St. Andrew's cross.
Yeah, the descriptions are vivid.
Unapologetic sleaze, and things like a gynecological examination chair. What are features like that doing in a club? What does their presence tell us?
Treeborg powerfully highlights that hyper-specialization we talked about. It shows clubs catering to incredibly specific, often advanced kinks and communities. Features like a gyno chair or a St. Andrew's cross aren't just random props. They're integral tools used in BDSM play: bondage, discipline, sadism, masochism.
Okay, so BDSM specific.
Right. A gyno chair, for example, can introduce elements of power exchange or medical fetish play. One person in a vulnerable position, another dominant, all within a consensual framework, obviously. A St. Andrew's cross is common BDSM equipment for consensual restraint or impact play. Their presence means Treeborg isn't a general cruising club. It's a dedicated BDSM playground. Participants engage in very specific, often intense, consensual power dynamics and fetish play. It tells us Berlin's capital of kink reputation isn't hype. There are spaces for almost every imaginable sexual expression, letting people find highly specific communities and engage in play that's often much more intense, nuanced, and niche than typical clubs.
It really does seem there's a place for literally every taste, every fetish. We saw mentions of new action with specific fetish dress codes. Bull, known for 24-hour cruising. Wolf Berlin for the bear community. Prince Neck catering to mature guys, even allowing women upstairs.
Right, each with its own crowd.
Boyberry Berlin, a modern take. Schön, a uniform bar. Gross Freiheit 114, welcoming all fetishes. The variety and niche offerings are just astonishing.
These examples absolutely underscore that incredible diversity and specialization. Each venue caters to a distinct sub-community or desire set, powerfully reinforcing that capital of kink status. Leather, uniforms, bears, specific BDSM setups, there's a dedicated space.
So you can really find your tribe.
Exactly. This deep specialization lets people not just express their kinks, but find and connect with genuinely like-minded people, creating these specific, vibrant communities around shared interests. It's a testament to the remarkable depth and breadth of Berlin's uninhibited scene, where niche interests are celebrated and facilitated.
And then there's Quailgeist, described as a non-commercial SM fetish association.
Different model, yeah.
Explicitly not the usual Berlin cruising venue, nor do we have a classical dark room, but it clearly offers connections and play options. St. Andrew's Cross, cages, slings, hosts diverse events. Gay men, all SM fetishes, women, transgender people, a non-commercial association. Sounds less like a club, more like a community hub with very specific shared interests.
That's a great way to put it. Quellgeist highlights the deep community-driven nature of parts of Berlin's scene, moving beyond commercial structures. Being non-commercial means its core focus is shared interests, education, consensual play rather than profit.
Fosters a different atmosphere, presumably.
Naturally fosters a strong sense of community, trust, mutual respect. The explicit mention of not a classical darkroom emphasizes connection happens through shared interests, engagement with tools and scenarios, often themed events, rather than anonymous spontaneity. It's a space where consent protocols are explicit, meticulously followed, reinforcing a responsible approach to advanced play within a supportive, community-focused framework. Shows a different, more structured dimension of Berlin's uninhibited yet conscious scene.
So whether outdoor cruising isn't your thing, or you want more structure, more specificity, the indoor options in Berlin are truly limitless, it seems.
Pretty much, yeah.
From huge saunas like Der Boiler to those hyper-specialized fetish clubs and community spaces like Quellgeist, it feels like Berlin has anticipated and catered to almost every desire imaginable.
Indeed. The breadth and depth of the indoor scene mean individuals can find precisely the community and environment that aligns with their desires, no matter how niche. Large social saunas for broad connection, hyper-specialized, fetish playgrounds. Berlin doesn't just tolerate diverse expressions, it provides dedicated, expertly designed, community-driven venues for them to truly thrive.
Okay, we've explored the places, the history, the sheer variety, but navigating the scene successfully requires understanding the etiquette, the communication, the cultural nuances.
Absolutely, the how-to part.
Let's start with what our sources call the art of nonverbal communication and eye contact. They say eye contact and body language are key for initiating interest, part of a sophisticated, almost ritualized system.
It really is like a language.
Holding eye contact, pausing strategically, the nod, sidewalk 3 seconds, even more direct cues like pulling, tapping the crotch, staring, foot tapping, licking lips, tight clothing, thigh rubbing. It's fascinating. A whole unspoken language. Can you walk us through some of these signals? How are they typically used?
This specific, shared, and unspoken language is absolutely crucial for discreetly and efficiently establishing mutual interest, especially in anonymous or semi-public spots like parks or dark rooms. It's all about signaling intent without a word.
Okay, like sidewalk 3 seconds. What's that?
That's a classic. You pass someone, then subtly turn back maybe 3 seconds later. If they also turn back and make eye contact, that's a strong mutual signal. The nod is that subtle acknowledgement, a quiet invitation to engage further.
And the more direct ones?
Tapping the crotch, licking lips, those are pretty unambiguous invitations.
Yeah.
Often used where the intent is more direct, maybe less subtle spaces. The beauty of this system is its efficiency. It minimizes awkwardness, misinterpretation. If interest isn't returned, the understanding is just to move on. No fuss, no offense.
That's inefficient.
Yeah, a highly refined, non-confrontational way to navigate connections in an environment valuing both spontaneity and discretion. It's a skill honed by regulars.
But even in anything goes Berlin, consent is king.
It's absolutely non-negotiable, paramount.
Our sources state unequivocally, despite the uninhibited freedom, consent is non-negotiable. Respecting boundaries is crucial. This is reinforced even in those specialized venues like Quellgeist, where intense play happens. This point just cannot be stressed enough.
It's fundamental. And a powerful counterpoint to any misunderstanding that anything goes means anything can happen without permission. Reiteration that consent is non-negotiable means Berlin's freedom is, at its core, responsible freedom.
Okay.
Personal boundaries must always be respected, clearly communicated, unequivocally affirmed. This is vital. Where nonverbal cues are common, reinforcing that subtle signals never override the absolute need for explicit or clearly implied consent for any sexual activity. It underscores a deep community value, safety, respect, agency, which actually enables the liberation found there. It shows the maturity of the scene.
And speaking of responsibility, discretion in public spaces is also key. Cruising outdoors, the advice is strong. Stay low-key.
Blend in.
And, as sources put it, hide well to avoid those causing a public nuisance charges. So it really is navigating that fine line between cultural acceptance and legal boundaries. How do people manage that in practice?
Well, the advice to stay low-key is directly linked to that concrete legal risk.
Yeah.
It's not just politeness, it's actively avoiding charges.
Yeah.
It moves from social advice to real legal implications, giving a clear why for discretion.
Right.
Participants understand that while their activity is culturally acknowledged within certain contexts, they're still in public spaces governed by general laws. Managing that line means consistently choosing secluded spots, maintaining vigilant awareness, ensuring their actions don't overtly infringe on the comfort or safety of the general public. It's a continuous, mindful negotiation of public and private.
Beyond cruising specifics, our sources had some great general advice for visitors about, well, German culture, specifically directness and gay time.
Ah, yes, the directness.
Germans, we're told, can be a bit direct. Okay, very direct, which shouldn't be taken personally. And punctuality, gay time isn't really a thing here. Punctuality matters.
Definitely good to know.
It also says Berlin's queer community is pretty political and socially conscious, so expect conversations about gentrification, trans rights, climate change alongside your cocktails. Sounds like the scene is way more than just sex, a vibrant, engaged community.
These cultural nuances give a much deeper, multidimensional picture. It suggests engagement isn't solely hedonistic, it's intellectual, politically vibrant too. That famous German directness, jarring if you're not expecting it, it's cultural, not personal. Communications, even nonverbal ones, are often unambiguous, which can actually be efficient in anonymous interactions.
And the punctuality.
Yeah. Gay time, that playful idea of being fashionably late common in some queer circles, decidedly not a thing. Germans generally value punctuality. If you have plans, be on time. But most importantly, that political and social consciousness means Berlin's queer scene is this dynamic hub for community boarding, activism, cultural exchange. Meaningful discussions on important issues are just as likely as casual encounters. It's a holistic, engaged community caring about broader social issues.
Okay, moving to maybe the most crucial section. Safety and well-being. Cruising responsibly is paramount anywhere, Berlin included.
Absolutely fundamental.
Sources highlight Berlin is generally super safe for LGBTQ plus folks, but common sense and proactive measures are essential. What are the key personal safety tips, especially given the unique dynamics here?
What's crucial is, while the city is safe overall, individual awareness and prep are key. Trust your instincts is fundamental. If something or someone feels off, disengage immediately. Maintaining anonymity, first name or nickname, only helps safeguard privacy.
Standard stuff, but important.
Yes, but what's particularly relevant for cruising spots, indoor or out, is knowing your emergency exit and actively reading the room. These aren't just general tips. They're tailored for spaces where public-private lines blur and situations can change fast.
Right, being aware of this specific environment.
Exactly. Keen awareness of surroundings, understanding unwritten rules, having a plan for a quick exit, assessing if a space is right for a certain interaction. This empowers people to mitigate risks proactively, even in a permissive environment. And telling a trusted friend where you're going, maybe sharing your live location, another vital layer of protection. Someone knows where you are.
Practicing safe sex, fundamental, always. But what about Berlin specifics? Sources advise PvP, doxypep, or condoms. Carry lube, hand wipes?
Standard good advice.
But then it adds that crucial detail about places like Lab.Oratory. Very few people use condoms. Pretty much all goers are on per P. That sounds like a high-trust, high-risk environment needing specific awareness.
This demands granular, practical advice, especially for visitors. That no condom culture at places like Lab is a specific norm, predicated on most attendees being on pre-P. Locals might manage this risk. But for tourists, getting pre-P quickly in Germany can be incredibly challenging, maybe impossible, without a prescription from home, especially outside the German healthcare system.
So the takeaway is?
The absolute strongest recommendation. Secure pre-P before arriving in Berlin if you plan to engage where condom use is low or non-existent. Also, awareness of common STIs is vital. Gonorrhea, for instance, is noted as quite common in Berlin. The recommendation for disinfectant wipes and saunas is another practical tip for communal spaces. It highlights responsible cruising here requires heightened preparation, awareness, proactive health management to navigate this high-trust, high-risk environment.
It's incredibly reassuring, though, to know there's such strong, comprehensive support available for sexual health and well-being. Berlin has this robust, inclusive network of LGBTQ plus specific health services.
It really does. It's impressive.
Can you detail some of these essential resources? What do they offer?
Absolutely. The sheer number, specialization, and collaboration demonstrate Berlin's strong commitment to queer well-being. It's a community-wide approach. First, SchwuZ Berlin. Comprehensive counseling for gay men, transgender people, people with AIDS. Covers mental health, addiction, discrimination, HIV/AIDS services. Crucially, often offers support in multiple languages for the international community. Runs projects like Man Check for HIV prevention, Queer Leben for transgender issues. Very specialized. Checkpoint BLN. a dedicated queer sexual health center, extensive testing HIV, syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, including anonymous HIV tests, sometimes free low cost, counseling on sexual health, chemsex, facilitates pre-PEP access. It's a collaboration between Berliner AIDS Health and SchwuZ Berlin, showing that integrated approach. Berliner AIDS Health EVIA offers general HIV testing, often specific hours for gay men, plus broader LGBT support. Manometer, Germany's oldest switchboard for gay men. Anonymous HIV/AIDS tests, wide counseling range, coming out. Gay life, relationships, substance use, pre-PP checks too. And the Zentrum for SchwuZ. Multiple sites across Berlin for accessible HIV/STI tests, counseling, education.
That is a truly impressive interconnected network. It really shows an integrated community-wide approach. Catering to Berlin's diverse international queer community, the multilingual support is key.
It absolutely is. This support network is a foundational pillar. It shows the uninhibited freedom is underpinned by a robust commitment to safety, health, and community well-being.
Okay, let's look at how digital tools fit into all this. No surprise, apps are part of it, but sources highlight a shift. Dating apps used for hookups, often alongside or even instead of traditional bars.
Yeah, the digital layer is huge now.
How do these tools integrate with the physical spaces? And do people pick specific apps for specific intentions?
This highlights an evolving digital landscape where users absolutely tailor their app choice to specific cruising intentions, a real diversification of digital pathways. Apps can be a crucial pre-screening tool, connect, establish interest, maybe vet potential partners before meeting physically.
Or skip the physical meeting altogether sometimes.
Or sometimes replace the need for bars or clubs entirely, allowing purely online connections. It offers a spectrum, augmenting the physical experience by facilitating initial contact, or totally redefining it for those seeking virtual or very discreet interactions. It's about optimizing for efficiency, specificity, desired anonymity.
Grindr, of course, globally dominant, world's largest LGBTQ plus app. King for hookups because it's location-based, super easy.
The convenience factor is massive.
But it's also faced huge criticism, right? Privacy scandals, data retention, bots, NSFW chat, biphobia, hate speech. Well, everyone knows Grindr. What are the less talked about aspects, good or bad, specifically for navigating Berlin?
Grindr's dominance, despite controversies, highlights its utility for immediate, location-based hookups. For many in Berlin, convenience often outweighs privacy concerns. It's built for rapid, often transactional connection.
But the downsides are real.
Oh, profoundly important, especially privacy and data retention concerns in a city where cruising anonymity can be part of the appeal. While Grindr for Equality does support LGBTQ plus safety globally, users must be aware of its model, how data might be used or shared. In Berlin, it's a trade-off many made for efficiency, but vital to be informed about implications of sharing location and info so broadly.
Then there's SchwuZ. Reputation for fostering community, catering to hookups and relationships, praise for inclusivity, more genuine users, 10 languages, seen as a slightly more upscale lounge alternative, attracting a more mature crowd, open to actual dating, features like venture for travelers, events section.
Yeah, SchwuZ positions itself differently.
Sounds like a more curated, maybe more substantial experience. What makes it appeal to a more mature crowd? How do its features support that community aspect?
SchwuZ's distinct focus on community and relationships contrasts sharply with Grindr's immediacy, shows those varied digital paths. Its appeal to a more mature crowd likely stems from features encouraging deeper connection. Venture lets users browse other cities, great for travelers planning a Berlin trip, connecting before arrival.
Planning ahead.
Exactly. Its events section helps find local LGBTQ plus gatherings, meetups, parties, fostering real-world community beyond just hookups. Shifts the experience from purely transactional to more relational, facilitates shared community, allowing more meaningful connections, building a network, belonging, not just finding an immediate encounter.
And fascinatingly, Romeo, formerly Planet Romeo Gay Romeo, founded in Berlin back in 2002.
A real local origin story.
One of Europe's most enduring platforms, 3M plus users, prides itself on being independent of big companies, community-focused, was once considered the app to use in Berlin, though interface might feel slightly outdated. A Berlin-born app, powerful local connection. How does its independence affect user experience? Does the outdated interface matter against its community focus?
Romeo's Berlin origins and strong European presence highlight this robust local digital ecosystem, thriving alongside global giants. Independence means it can focus on community needs, user-driven features, often resulting in a more user-centric, less ad-driven experience.
So user priorities might differ.
Right. While the interface might seem outdated to some, that often matters less to a dedicated base. Prioritizing features like unlimited chat, extensive profile customization, and crucially, hiding GPS for privacy. Its enduring popularity, especially among German speakers, suggests that for many, a platform's cultural resonance, history, community focus outweigh cutting-edge aesthetics. Offers a culturally attuned, historically rooted alternative. Shows powerful loyalty to a platform grown from the community it serves.
And it's really cool that even with all these apps, specialized websites and forums are still vital. Planet-Randy.com, a comprehensive guide. Gayzine.net, extensive forums for specific cruising locations. Interesting they still thrive.
This persistence shows a powerful, grassroots, community-driven approach to sharing info that apps often can't replicate. These platforms offer detailed, user-generated content, direct, nuanced interaction apps lack.
Like real-time updates or etiquette tips.
Exactly. Specific location discussions, recent activity updates, intricate etiquette nuances you wouldn't find on a general app. Fosters shared knowledge and direct communication within specific cruising subcommunities. Proves that despite global app dominance, local, specialized online communities remain vital for nuanced info, deeper connection, truly navigating Berlin's intricacies. They offer an organic, evolving guide curated by the community itself and valuable insider insight.
Wow, well, we've truly taken a panoramic deep dive into Berlin's uninhibited queer scene. From deep history to its vibrant, multifaceted present, it's so clear why Berlin earned that Europe's capital of kink title. That anything goes attitude rooted in history, acceptance, resilience.
It really comes through in the sources.
We've explored the incredible variety outdoor parks, discreet spots, premier saunas like Der Boiler, hyper-specialized fetish clubs, community spaces, and it's all supported by this dynamic digital landscape, blending global apps with strong local platforms.
So to truly embrace Berlin's unique scene, whether you're there or just learning awareness and responsibility are absolutely key takeaways. Remember, consent and clear communication, always non-negotiable. Master nonverbal cues, but be ready for German directness.
Right, and vigilant personal safety. Trust instincts, maintain anonymity, know exit strategies, use common sense.
Proactive sexual health is fundamental. Safer sex, yes, but be keenly aware of Berlin's specific pre-BP culture.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a tourist, get pre-PP before arrival. Pack essentials, condoms, lube, maybe even disinfectant wipes for communal spots.
And definitely leverage Berlin's amazing LGBTQ plus health network, Beraten Berlin, Checkpoint BLN, Berliner AIDS Health, Manometer, vital testing, counseling, prevention, often multilingual.
And finally, approach it all with an open mind, deep respect. Embrace the unique cultural nuances, the directness, the social consciousness. Respecting discretion in public spaces is key for a positive experience for everyone.
Berlin's queer cruising scene really offers this unique, compelling blend. Profound freedom, deep community, and a responsible approach to liberation. A testament to how a city can foster an environment where diverse sexual expressions aren't just tolerated, but celebrated, integrated. Proving liberation can coexist with responsibility.
In a world often focused on boundaries, restrictions, Berlin reminds us of that profound human need for authentic connection, self-expression, boldly pushing the limits of what a city can truly embrace.
So as you reflect on this, maybe consider, what could other cities learn from Berlin's blend of liberation and responsibility? And what might that look like in their own communities?
Something definitely to mull over until our next deep dive.